Okay, so Dino Shaddolls has improved significantly just because of the new battles of Legends that just came out in July 2019 as I'm recording this. And with the new ban list, it has somewhat improved the deck as well, with Daiguso Emerald being unbanned and not Shaddoll Poly, but Super Polymerization being completely out of the ban list. So anyways, I'm gonna go quick into the deck profile and I'll show you guys. So 2 UCTs, obviously like 2 is the best ratio for Ultimate Conductor Tyrannos because it's like one of the best boss monster in the games. But 2 of them is good enough. You shouldn't be playing 3 of them because it breaks way too much with that. Now, 3 Soleating Oviraptors, that's the main searcher of any Dino deck really. Well, almost any Dino deck in general. You can send to the graveyard a dinosaur, you can add a dinosaur to your hand. Like, mainly sending Quadless to the graveyard to get your double Evolution Pill spell. And then let's talk about the Garnet of the deck is Dracelo. Like I know half the decks, like half of the deck in any Dino variant, all consists of Garnets, but that one's the worst one. You draw that, and it's like, what can I do with that? But that's mainly used to make your Synchro monster, or you can use it as an extender on like the combo that I make a lot nowadays with Dino Shaddolls. Now with Petit Pteranodon, that's a really good extender for the type of combo I'm using. Because it's just, you pop that somehow, you can special in a level 4 or higher Dino. I usually special a level 4 Dino. Maybe Oviraptor, Giant Rex. I've never really summoned Giant Rex using that, to be honest, or Miscellaneousaurus. Or you can even special Pancratops if you want, or maybe a Dugares. Just anything you want really, but... Now the 3 miscellaneous sources, I'd say they're pretty mandatory at this point. It protects you from hand traps, protects you from card effects, well for dinosaur monsters that is. And you can also, and has another also super awesome graveyard effect. Now, the Dugares, that's basically a searchable kaiju for dinosaurs, so one's good enough. I'm seeing quite a few builds of any dinosaur build really that use 2 of those. It breaks. Just play 1. One's good enough. Don't play 2. It'll break. It's just almost another Garnet. 2 Pancratops. I'd say 2 of them is good enough. But it is a dinosaur as well, so you can actually search it with Oviraptor. So Pancratops is mandatory for any dinosaur builds, but depending on the build, I'd say you can go for 3 or 2. For Shaddoll dinos, just 2. 2 is good enough. Giant Rex is a really good extender for like Lost World dinos, Shaddoll dinos, but Shaddoll dinos especially because you can send that to the graveyard with Shaddoll Fusion and it just works wonders. Banish that, it gets special summoned to the field when it gets banished. It's great. Pardon me. Now, bit of a controversial topic right there. The ratio of Shaddoll monsters. Now, I only play 2 Shaddoll monsters in my deck because in my opinion, the more Shaddoll monsters you play in the deck, the more your deck's gonna break. Because they're about the same. They're close to be Garnets while in the hand. So just play 2 minimum. For me, 2 maximum. But if you really want to play 3 Shaddoll monsters, I'd say you can put the Shaddoll Falco, because Falco it can special summon itself from the graveyard into the field and face down the fence. So, I mean, you can at least do something with Falco with Shaddoll Fusion, but other than that, 2Ds are good enough. The best Shaddoll to play, the best Shaddoll monsters to play, sorry, is Dragon, pops a back row, Beast, draw a card. Yeah, so 2 is good enough for me. Armageddon Knight is technically a 4th copy of the Overraptor, because it can send a quadless to the graveyard if you'd like. And if it's really situational, you can send one of the Shaddoll monsters to the graveyard with Armageddon Knight. It's nice. I also play the Perform H packages in this deck, because it goes super well with Shaddoll Dinos, to be honest with you. Like, Damage Juggler, it's also a nice card to have to like discard and negate like a burn damage, really. For like just in case if you're quite unlucky enough to play against like one of the 4 remaining burn players out there, Damage Juggler is pretty good for that. It's another way to dump it, because the graveyard effect is the most important one, because you banish that from the graveyard, adding a Perform H monster from deck to hand, which extends your combos like it extends it, and you can just keep on going with the combo. Trick Clown is good too. You send it to the graveyard, target Perform H in the grave, and you special summon it, I mean. Now, Hat Tricker is like the main search target for Damage Juggler, because 2 or more monsters on the field, that's a free special summon. Thank you very much. And that just goes on with the combo. Now, that combo I'm talking about is all thanks to Battles of Legends, the new one with Dugares the Timeless. So I'll explain the combo after the deck profile, but it's about mandatory if you want to do that combo that I do. But let's just keep on going. So, hand traps, we already talked about Pancratops. It's technically a hand trap, but we're playing 8 hand traps in this deck. You can get away with playing about 8 hand traps in there, to be honest with you. So, I just play 2 of each. Just play 2 Ash Blossoms, 2 Effect Veilers, and 2 Gnome Materials. Gnome Material is pretty underappreciated at the moment, because the only time I see Gnome Material in any other deck profiles is at least in it's at the side deck at the most. But if you're playing a going second deck like Shaddoll Dinos, for the love of God, put that in your deck, because it goes pretty well with the deck. It goes really well with the deck. It stops, if you're gonna play against Salamander Greats, Salamander Average, like any deck that uses quite a lot of extra deck, this stops them from playing. Like, it just stops them. This is only good for like a going second decks, you know. So you can use it in Shaddoll Beast, you can use it in Mech Knight Invoked. It's also another material for Shaddoll Fusion too. So if you ended up not using the material, you can use Shaddoll Fusion. One of those is a material. If it's situational, if you don't have Giant Rex in the deck somehow. Anyways, let's go to the spell. Another controversial topic. 2 Fossil Digs. Everyone plays 3 Fossil Digs in the decks. I only play 2. Short story. I lost my 3rd copy of my super rare Fossil Dig. I have a playset of the super rare ones. And I ended up playing with 2 of them without realizing it. And I mean, worked wonders, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like you only need 2 Fossil Digs, because you have 3 of them. It's most likely you'll be drawing like 2 Fossil Digs in your hand. If your opening hand is like you already have an Overraptor and Miscellaneousaurus, it technically counts as a break, because you just see these 2. It's like, what am I supposed to do with those? It turns into a fucking Garnet, alright? Like, that's why I only play 2 fossil digs. Double evolution pill is mandatory. 2 is always the best ratio. Don't play 3, it'll break. Shaddoll fusion, 3 is mandatory. Another optional thing you can do is Shaddoll fusion, but you should only play 1 of that. And I don't play Shaddoll fusion in this deck because I don't like it personally. And Call by the Grave, that's a combo deck, so of course you'll be needing some protection from hand traps. You definitely need 3 Call by the Graves, it's mandatory. Foolish Burial is actually really good in this deck. So you can it's a good way to send your damage jugglers. And in certain situations you can even send a Quatless with that. Or even one of the Shaddoll monsters. Like if you know that you can't use a Shaddoll fusion during that turn, you can just maybe send the Shaddoll Beast to get an extra card or pop a back row if you know for sure that you're not going to be using a Shaddoll fusion, or this is extremely situational to send a Shaddoll monster. You should keep them in the deck just for Shaddoll fusion. Now with Super Power being unlimited, you should play 3 of those. Really good. You discard 1 card, so if you have Damage Juggler in your hand or Giant Rex in your hand, Super Poly is gonna help you out. And it also just gets rid of your opponent's pain in the ass monsters, just Starry Venom Fusion Dragon, or maybe Summon Great Violet Chimera if you're playing against Salem Average. So this is the main deck. Side deck is up to your personal preference. To be honest with you, it's like it all depends on what kind of locals you're playing, or what kind of regionals, what kind of event you're playing. YCS, WCQ, World Championship, that's gonna be coming out in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or so as I'm recording this. With like locals, for example, if a lot of people are playing Sky Strikers, Orcus, Floodgate decks, I know my locals has quite a few Floodgates. Just change your side deck on depending on like what locals you're going to in general. Just know the events, know the locals, and side deck will work wonders. Let's go with the extra deck. Saryuja is a little bit of a pricey card, but it's really good with the deck, with the combo. It's not really necessary. Well, come to think of it, for the combo I'm doing there, I always get a Saryuja all the time, so I'd say it's almost mandatory, unfortunately. But if you do have it, you can put it in your Dino deck. Cyframe Lord Lambda, or a beat cop. Like if you have a Cyframe Gear Gamma, Lambda is gonna be amazing, but I only have it in because I pulled it and just have it in until someone wants it. I can just get it in. And Pentastag is mandatory for a Dino deck, because piercing damage pointing into UCT, piercing damage on all your defense position monsters. That's good. It's just too good. And XYZs, we play Eagles Ardoka and Logia. Get your summon negates and your monster effect negates. When it's really situational, because to be honest, I don't remember the last time I used one of these. Daiguso Emerald, that got out of the ban section of the ban list, and that really helps with recycling some monsters in your graveyard. For example, if you're using if you already used up like some extra deck monsters, or Overraptor or Quatless UCT, you could just use Daiguso Emerald to recycle 3 of the monsters in graveyard. Also gives you a free card too. You could also there's not too many decks that use Emerald, but Shaddoll Dinos is a decent one to use it on. Now Dugares makes this deck, it just turns it into like a whole new combo little thing, because Dugares has 3 effects. Gotta detach 2 to skip the draw phase, draw 2 cards, and discard 1. That's already a good effect right there. Skip the main phase 1. You skip the main phase 1, special summon a monster from your graveyard in defense position, which I don't know about that. But the one we will be using a lot if you have this, if you want to do the combo, you skip the battle phase of your next turn. And also double the attack of a monster you control until the end of its turn. So you usually use that, giving OTK Tyranno double its attack, which will turn into a 7,000 attack, okay? The end board usually ends with a UCT, with a pentastack pointing at it, with 7,000 attack, attacks all your monsters, in defense position, piercing. That's instant win. And the Abyss Dweller, if you have to go first and you know that your opponent plays some graveyard heavy deck, just make an Abyss Dweller. They can't play. Gustav Max is a great card. Like if you did not finish off your opponent, you could just overlay that with 2 UCTs or 1 UCT and Shekinaga, and 2,000 damage to your opponent. GG. Now for synchros, I only play Chambara in this really. It's a good little OTK though. You can attack twice, gains 200 attack every time you attack. This card battles, that is. So about 4,400 attack it can do. Now fusion, I just play like 3 Shaddoll fusion monsters, which is Winda, Shekinaga, and Construct. They're all pretty good. And then the super polarization targets. And that is all for the deck. I'm gonna show you guys the combo now. D combo that changes Shaddoll Dinos. Just to let you know, this deck breaks a lot, so we're gonna go ahead and reset it. Yeah, let's go ahead and reset it. Now, if Dinos is not your thing, I don't blame you. Now, this is a better hand. So, we'll draw another card because we're gonna be going second anyways. Alright, so, let's just say your opponent has an extra monster zone. Everyone has an extra monster zone, for God's sake. If they have an extra deck monster, right? You can use Shaddoll Fusion and send to the graveyard monsters from your deck as fusion material. Go ahead and send Giant Rex and Shaddoll Beast. And then you special Shekinaga. Did I just say that? Anyway. And yeah, Shaddoll Beast effect, you go ahead and draw 1 card. Now, let's see here. With miscellaneous source in there, you're gonna go ahead and send that to the graveyard. And now you'll activate, no, you don't activate Super Poly. That's, okay, that went to the graveyard. Alright. Anyways, you can go ahead and use miscellaneous source effect to banish itself and Giant Rex. To go and special summon a Petit Pteranodon. Giant Rex effect will special summon itself. Keep keep in mind we didn't normal summon yet, okay? We normal summon Trick Clown. Now we can link for 4 with all of these. For Sir Yuja. Shaddoll Dinos, you can make a Sir Yuja decently easily when you have the right cards. And then Sir Yuja's effect, you draw 4 cards. 2, 3, 4. And you'll be let's send that and that and you know what, I'll go send that to bottom deck. And go ahead and use Fossil Dig. We'll get the Overraptor, because with Sir Yuja you can special summon a monster from your hand. So you go ahead and special summon Overraptor. Overraptor effect. Let's see. View. So we'll be sending Quadless to the graveyard. We'll be getting the double evolution pill. Add it to the hand. Now, we can go ahead and super poly. Send. I can just discard the kaiju since we're not going to use it. And depending on what deck they're playing, let's just say we'll just go with the Starving Venom. And then we're gonna go with double evolution pill after that. Now let's just say that we send Trick Clown. We can actually special summon that. It's a little secret. Don't tell anyone I did that. Okay. Now double. Yeah, we were doing double evolution, right? Yeah, okay, so we banish the Dugares, we banish the Shaddoll Beast. We special summon UCT. Just make sure you special summon Conductor Tyranno to another extra monster zone so that you can get a Pentastag to point at it, and you should be fine. Now, by then you'll have 2 level 4 monsters on the field. So you're gonna go ahead and overlay it. And you get the big boy Dugares. Like, Dugares is just amazing in this deck, like, it's crazy. So now you use the effect, you're gonna go ahead and detach 2. Tyranno is now 7,000 attack, okay? Now you're going to be linking for 2 with the Dugares and the Sir Yuja to get a Pentastag. And if you haven't done already, you can just use his effect to destroy Quadless, and then just Book of Eclipse your whole enemy's board. Now you do piercing damage on defense position monsters with a 7,000 attack. You're gonna be winning. You pretty much win. That is pretty much how the combo works for that. You might need a couple of pricey cards, however, but it is definitely worth it. It is a really good deck, like combo. Just the only expensive one is Sir Yuja. That's pretty much it. So yeah, that was the combo. Hopefully it's good enough for you guys to be like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. So that's pretty much the combo. That's the deck profile. So that's pretty much it. See you guys.